here with us? You can hear me?
I can. I'm also with the Workforce Development Board of Central Ohio, and Wendy and I are counterparts on the Business Solutions team.
Okay, wonderful. Well, thank you for being here. How about Brianna Nimrod? Did I say that right?
Well, yes, you did. Thank you
Oh,
for
good.
getting it correct as well. I am Brianna Nimrod, business service consultant with Ohio Means Jobs.
Very wonderful. Thank you for being here.
Thank
How
you for
about
having
Greg
us.
Warren? Greg Warren, I see your name. Oh, I think he may have muted himself for a reason. Greg, can you hear me?
Any better now?
Yeah, now I can hear you.
Okay. My name is Greg Warren. I'm with the OhioMeansJobs.com website, and I'm actually waiting on Julie, but I'm supposed to be your primary presenter today.
Okay, well, you may be up first. Surprise.
Fair enough.
That's all right. How about Opal? Good morning, Opal.
Good morning. So Sean, Julie, that's why I keep picking up the phone. She's having issues logging in. So
Okay.
she's working on it now, but like Greg said, that he's here. She's going to be the primary presenter, but I can do the opening if she's not able to get on, so that's fine. Again, I'm Opal. I'm with the Workforce Development Board of Central Ohio on the Business Solutions team. Some of the other folks that you see on board will also be presenting in some of the subsequent workshops that are going to happen through the month of July. So
wonderful. I'm glad you said that, Opal. This is a series of 4, actually, that you guys should be doing for us. Great. And I think we just had somebody else come in. Maybe they left. All right. Well, I guess I can take a hint. Well, I think we will go ahead and get started, and maybe Julie will be able to figure out her tech problems and join us. I hope so. In the meantime, Opal, would you like to open and introduce yourselves and what you'll be talking about today?
Of course. So Sean, I believe Julie provided Greg some slides. Does he have the ability to share?
I can give him that ability.
Thank you.
Uh-huh. All right. Greg, I transferred the host position to you, and so the only thing I ask is, now that you can share your screen, that you also keep an eye on the door and let anybody in who happens to be waiting in the waiting room.
I can manage that. Can everybody
right,
see the slideshow
yours.
all right?
Yeah, I think we can. Looks great.
Okay, great.
All right. So thank you so much for hosting with us, Greg. So I'm not Julie. I'm Opal. But Julie Laird, she works for, she's a workforce specialist with the Office of Workforce Development with ODJFS. So I think one important thing that I was going to kind of level set. So Julie's a state employee. The rest of us either work for the Workforce Development Board of Central Ohio or are with the Ohio Means Job Center. So that's a cool, so you can move forward, Greg. So we just wanted to give you an overview of the different trainings we're having this month. So I just want to make sure that you guys are aware. Some wonderful things really helping employers learn more about some of our services in regard to how we can help you connect the talent, how we can help you engage talent, and how we can help you retain talent. And even if you have been impacted with a layoff, we also have services to provide to help your employees connect to other opportunities. So we want to make sure that you're aware of the breadth and depth of resources that we have available for businesses, but it all starts off with OhioMeansJobs.com. So I'm gonna give it to Greg so you to introduce yourself, because you can do that much better than I would be able to.
Thanks, Opal.
Thank you, Opal. So it's like Opal said, my name is Greg Warren. I've been the lead trainer for the OhioMeansJobs.com website for the last 10 years now. And so we're going to run through some of the different benefits of OhioMeansJobs.com, some of the things that that it can offer to you as an employer, and then we'll open it up to questions and answers at the end there. So But yeah, so you'll be able to learn how to post your jobs, search through our resume database, which has around 2.4 million resumes in there. You can see how to connect with veterans, the various tax incentive programs that may be available to you, as well as additional state and federal programs. Bear with me for 1 second here while I switch this over to, there we go. Okay. So can everybody see I guess at any point in time, I guess when I presented this the last time, it turns out I was not zoomed in well enough and it was a little bit difficult for some folks to see. So if you have any trouble with seeing what, what I've got on the screen, please just let me know. And because we have to run through the live version of the website, there's some of this that I have to run through from this, this how do I document, because I can't do a full registration without actually creating an account. So I apologize for the screenshots, but that's the unfortunate part of doing this through a live version of the website. So getting started, we'll just run through, and on the employer landing page here, you can either click posting a job or search resumes. They'll both get you to the same spot. Yes, I can make the screen a little bit bigger. Yeah, bear with me 1 second here. Maybe a little too big. Is that any better?
Yeah, I can see it fine. I can read everything, I think.
Okay. Okay. So you either click posting a job or searching resumes, doesn't matter which one. And then after that, if this is your first time here, you'll go ahead and click first time user. If you did previously have an account, what you'll need to do is go ahead and hit forgot password if you haven't logged in, since we have recently upgraded the employer registration system within the last couple of months. So if it's been a while, just go ahead and hit forgot password, put your email address or username in there, and you'll be sent a brand new password or a link to create a brand new password. But basically, I just want to walk through the registration process because there are a couple of things that have a tendency to get people tripped up. So the first part of the registration process, and this is that first part that trips the most people up, is you have to have both your federal FEIN, your tax withholding number, as well as your state of Ohio tax withholding number. Now, both of these numbers are available on your W-2. You can pull those numbers right there off of that piece of paper, or digital form. You can also go straight to your payroll department, and they should be able to provide that with you or for you. And so once you click FEIN and tax withholding number, sorry, let me backtrack a little. Make sure you don't click OMJ Center FEIN. That is just for our Ohio Means Jobs centers across the state to be able to register their staff. Your company's FEIN will not work through that. We have a lot of companies who we have folks say, well, I only have an FEIN and I don't know my tax withholding number, and they try to register using OMJ Center FEIN. It will not allow you to register doing that. So just keep that in mind. So next, you'll be popped up to this recruiter registration screen here. And you need to enter both your company's FEIN and then re-enter, as well as enter your state tax withholding number twice. And once you do that, you'll go ahead and click continue. When you click continue, what it does is it goes ahead and verifies that information based on the Ohio Business Gateway's address. Now, in order to do this, you do have to have your company both registered and active with the Ohio Business Gateway. And every single time that you go ahead and log into your account, it's going to verify that your information is still active with the Ohio Business Gateway. And where we have found that this trips folks up is in the past, once you had verified your account the first time and we verified the FEIN and tax withholding number, we never went back and checked it before. And this newer system will go back and check every time you log in. So we've had plenty of folks who say, well, I just used this like 2 months ago, and why can't I get logged in? It says it can't verify. And that's because either the FEIN or the tax withholding number is no longer updated. It may be that the employer has changed to a new or updated those numbers or whatever it may be, or they may have expired. But you do have to make sure that number stays active. So after that, the company's name will be automatically populated from the Ohio Business Gateway. You also will not be able to manually enter city or state. That'll all be populated based on the zip code and stuff that you enter. And then we just ask that you put in your basic information, some information about your company, whether you're NAICS code, your industry sector, that type of stuff. And then whether or not you're a military-friendly employer, and we have a list of, exactly what that is defined as for military-friendly employer status, sorry. Then we ask you for your personal information, not the overarching information for your company, but what exactly is related to you and your account. And you'll see here under number 10, the first person from a company to register will be defaulted as the company administrator. And you can go ahead and update that later on. We do provide instructions on how to modify or change that over time as needed. But we do strongly recommend that every person within a company create their own individual accounts. And the reason for that being, in the past, we've had some companies where we found that, one person's account becomes compromised, and somebody starts to access all the resumes or whatever it may be. They abuse the account. Whomever has gotten access to the username and password, and then we have to shut down what may have been their shared account, or it may have been, whatever, maybe the only account that they were all using for one company. And like I said, then we have to shut it down. And then everybody has to start over from scratch. Whereas if just one of these accounts was compromised, that's quick and easy. We shut just the one down, and that person can then, we walk with them as far as changing their password, but doesn't delay anybody else from being able to access all of the utilities that we have in here. So after doing all that, you'll click create account, and you'll receive an email address or an email to you that says, hey, congratulations, your account's been created. And then from there, we walk you through, click the link, and you'll be taken to the sign-in screen. Go ahead and log in. Make sure you click the I've read and agreed to OMJ terms and conditions, which is something you have to do each time. And then from there, you'll be taken to the employer briefcase. So this is the briefcase here. And now I'm going to go ahead and switch over to the live version of Ohio Means Jobs and let you see exactly what this looks like today. And again, since we're switching screens, please, if you are unable to see it, if you need me to increase the font size and all that, I can continue to blow that up, and hopefully everybody will be able to see it just fine. So from this screen, we have some quick links here. So if you need to just post a job, we can do that here. If you want to go and search resumes, you can find all of our candidates here. If you have questions as far as, how do you do different things, we have a link that will take you to a How Do I page, where you'll find a number of illustrated and annotated documents to walk you through how to do different various things throughout the Ohio Means Jobs website as an employer. If you need to request assistance, you can also do that right through here. And if you're visiting Monday through Friday between 8 to 5, we have a live chat that's available here. You can just click, and that'll pop up at the bottom right corner, and you can live chat with somebody about your account or about anything that may be going on or you're experiencing with Ohio Means Jobs. So first and foremost, I'm going to walk through the job posting. One of the things that we've recently added with job posting is that now that everything is, I don't want to say hidden, but it's secured behind a login. In the past, posting a job did not require you to be logged in. And it was just, we kind of had keyword systems and whatnot that would kind of screen through the different job postings that came in. But it wasn't anything that we kind of forced everybody to verify and validate exactly who they were. And so, over time, we tended to get more and more spam jobs that we were, the spammers tended to get smarter, and they kind of beat our filtration systems. And so now everything is locked away behind these, the actual login and registration. But one of the benefits of that is now you can save your jobs and you can just click to repost it. So if you've got a job that you say like, hey, every spring as the weather gets nicer and we start to have more jobs available, I hire a welder. Well, now I've got it here, and I could just click that one, pre-populate everything that I had put in previously, and that welder job is going to be fully filled out so that anybody can find it. Now, if we didn't want to, we could we could manually type everything in, choose our type of job. And one of the other things I want to point out here as I go through is, you'll notice that as I'm typing, there's information that I can, especially on the job title, we can go ahead and pre-populate this. So I'm going to click electrician. And again, the job location, you'll fill that out each time. The employment type, whether it's an actual employee or your contract or temporary position. But as we go through on this, when we get down to the job description here, we can go ahead and say, I want to view the other descriptions, and I could type in electrician again and search, and we have over 5,000 pre-populated job descriptions. Now, I understand that this may not be exactly what job description you're looking for, but we're going to click it. Now it's in place, and you can modify this in any way that you want. We've also turned this into a rich text editor. So if you wanted to highlight specific words or whatever by making the font larger, we could do that. We could bold, italicize, center, and all the standard formatting that you're used to when you're in Microsoft Word, or if you needed to say, hey, I want this to really stand out, we could make these letters red or whatever it may be that you want to do. You can also completely edit the text if you have additional qualifications and requirements that you need to put in the job description as well. Your company name is by default going to be the same one that was in there when you first registered. However, this is modifiable. So if, for example, we have a lot of folks who they post on behalf of another company, so they could easily type this in there and put in something for another company if they were trying to hire somebody, on behalf of another company. You can also opt to keep your company's name confidential so that it would show as confidential when somebody does a search. Just bear in mind that we don't modify anything that you put in the job description. So if you put, our company name is a Fortune 500 company, even though you've made yourself confidential, you've kind of given it away up here in the job description though. Then you choose your company industry, which is, again, if you're choosing to post on behalf of another company, you may need to change that. Otherwise, that's set by default based on what you originally put in. One of the other nice features that we added when we updated the employer registration is that we've allowed, by default, candidates will contact you through our website. And the benefits of that are that you can now see how many folks have applied directly through the site, rather than just, not sure how many people saw your job post, how many people actually click apply, or how many people may have tried to send you an email or whatever. But in addition to that, we have added in go to the next one here, an opportunity to do custom candidate screening. As you see here, we can customize our posting date. This can be up to 90 days in the future, and your expiration date can be up to 90 days from whenever your posting date is. So we could set that all up. If you needed it to be, hey, I'm going to start hiring for this job next Monday, I can set it so that it goes live on Monday, and then it can close out, any number of days from the time that you do your original posting. But this candidate screener is something that we've added recently. And so now we could use some existing ones if we wanted to. We could use some ones that if you've had one for a position that you already posted for, you could choose those as well. But again, we can go ahead and choose one and preview that. And that's going to allow you to see what these screeners are. And essentially, as we go through on these screeners and customize them, I could say that, okay, well, let's say I need an experienced electrician. I want somebody who's got at least 3 years of experience. I may say that, let's go ahead and hit edit on this question. And I'm going to say that anybody with less than 1 year is an auto reject. And I may say that 1 to 2 years is also an auto reject. Anybody 3 to 5 years is neutral, better, and then 10 plus years is best, or however it is that you want to do that. And then we can go ahead and save. And essentially what this would do, since we now have an auto reject as a qualifier on here, let's say we went through and posted this job and somebody had said that at the end of this, they said they only had 1 year of experience. By the time that they finish filling out this questionnaire, we could choose to do one or two things with these auto reply letters. So we could send the same one that could be, say, hey, thank you, Bob Smith, for applying for this job. If we find you of interest as a candidate, we'll contact you as soon as possible. Or we could choose some different ones. And for these, we could say, okay, for the candidates who are automatically rejected, we could just say, here's our auto reject letter. I can preview that, and it may say, thanks for your interest. And it can automatically populate with the candidate's first and last name. It can also populate with your email address, your name, and you can also populate it with the job order number and the job name so that they know exactly which position you're talking about. For anybody who scores, like it says neutral or higher, we could choose some different different options in here as well. So that way that those candidates may get one that says, hey, I'm Bob from XYZ. You passed our initial qualifier. Here's my phone number and my email address. Please reach out to me at your earliest convenience. I'd like to speak with you about potentially setting up an interview for this job. And there's a couple of ways that we can do this. We can choose to save this questionnaire for later. And so that's where we'd say save questionnaire to hiring library. You can also choose to make this questionnaire private. So if I've saved it and I don't want to share it with the other folks at my organization, I mark it as private and it's just there for me later on. So then once we go ahead and continue through that, your job posting is here. You can then view that job posting. I apologize, I forgot that since I'm doing this in windowed mode. There we go. So you can go ahead, we can view the job posting here, see exactly what it looks like, see our formatting, make sure everything looks good. And then we go back and it says, hey, we've recommended 20 resumes. We have an automatic system that will recommend resumes to you based on what you've seen or what you posted. And I could go ahead and click to view these resumes. And here's my immediate candidates that it suggests. And we'll come back to this as we look at viewing candidates shortly. But that's the quick down and dirty for posting a job. Now there's a little more we can add to that. So back here on our main briefcase page, which I got to by clicking this little briefcase icon up here, now I can manage my job postings. I can see what the job order ID is, the job title, whether or not it's active, when that job expires, how many folks have viewed that job, how many folks have clicked on it, how many have actually applied. And then these are the matches, which again, where it takes a look at what qualifications you're looking for, as well as the location that job is in. And then you're able to see the folks who match up for that job. If you needed to make any sort of changes, so we can go to the view and manage page, or let's say I've got a job that, hey, I need to make a similar hire. I can copy this existing job and make a new copy of it. Maybe I need to not only hire somebody in Circleville, but I'm also doing hiring in Columbus, or I'm also doing hired in Dayton or Toledo or wherever. We can make a copy of this exact same post. You can also edit it in order to close that job post out earlier or extend it for a little bit longer if you need to. Whatever it is that you need to do to continue to modify that posting. So next we'll run through the Find Candidates section. So on our Find Candidates page, by default, you can search for job title. We can search for keywords. We can also do it as a location-based search, and whether that's city, state, zip, whatever. But I'm just going to do this. The best way that I have found is to search based on keywords. You notice that it does also, if you are searching based on different stuff, that there are different pre-populate options here available. And then we can also use the type ahead feature or use the zip code. It'll get you the same results. And then our default search radius is 50 miles. Once we have completed a search, you'll notice down here, it will go in as a save search automatically. If you felt like you didn't get good results with that search, you can choose to click archive and it will go away. You can also show your archive or show all of your searches that you previously had. So essentially what this is going to do is going to rank the candidates based on all the information that you put in. Now in this case, I didn't put a lot of stuff. I just put a location and a skill, but it's going to give you a percentage based on what percentage of match this person is. Now you notice this red, white, and blue V indicator here that's next to these first two individuals' names. That indicates that these two individuals are a veteran. And since we are funded through federal dollars, we are required to provide veterans with priority of service. And what that means is, and the way that we do that is that all things being equal, let's say that we had a civilian and a vet that both matched 5 out of 5 criteria. They were each, in this case, a 78%. You would find that the veteran would always be listed first. Now, if we had, let's say, a civilian that was 79% and a veteran that was 78%, the 79% was going to be higher. We always try to give the best matched candidate first priority, and then after that, once there's like I said, all things being equal, you'll see the veteran first. So from the screen, let's say I now wanted to add some additional detail to my search. I wanted to kind of narrow it down because 3,800 candidates is a lot. So I could go over here to Manage Fields, and you'll see a list of all these different fields that pop up here. And so now I could say, well, let me narrow that down to somebody who's got a minimum education level. I'm going to put one of those in there. And maybe there's some travel involved. So let's say I want those two things to be part of my qualifications. Now let's say I want somebody who's got, we have a number of different options here, some high school, or we could say, I want somebody who's got at least a certification, a post-secondary certification. And I want them to be willing to travel at least 50% of the time. I'll go ahead and click Update. And now I'm down to 790 potential candidates. And we could continue to update this again and again. If we wanted to update the keywords here at the top, we could do that as well. And we could also choose to enable notifications so that if a new candidate were to pop up that matched these criteria, you could choose to get new notifications, not just see that search back in your briefcase, but you would actually be emailed when a new candidate pops up. So this is especially useful if you've got a really specialized type of job that you've listed and you're trying to fill out, and you are struggling to find candidates for that. So from here on, then, as we go in, and let me make my screen a little bigger so we can fit all this. So from here, when I click on an individual's resume, now I'm going to be able to see a little bit of information about them. I can find out what their job history was, where they've worked in the past, any keyword matches like I've done here that says, okay, well, here keyword match of electrician. Here's the different skills that matched up to it. I can see these individuals' education, their past, any additional information about them. Could also click on their actual resume. So this is if somebody has, whether or not they've chosen to do this as a build online or an uploaded resume, we could then see exactly what their resume is itself, rather than just the abstract version of their profile. And then had I had previous activity with this individual's resume, I would be able to see that here. And some of that previous activity could be, maybe I've used the system here to send them an email, or I have said, I've said, let's say I wanted to forward this as a potential candidate onto Opal. I could put her information in here, and then I could forward this candidate and say, hey, Opal, this looks like a great candidate for our resume for our electrician position. What do you think? And then she could let me know what that is. I could choose to download a local copy and save the Word document or the PDF and keep that locally. I could choose to send this candidate an email, and that's going to come to them. It's going to appear as if it comes from my own email address, but we're going to route it straight through the Ohio Means Jobs website so that it goes through the back end, and you'll be able to track that yourself through the website. I could also choose to add this individual to a folder for later on. So I'm going to say, okay, well, it's going to give you a suggested one. In this case, we look for electricians near Circleville, Ohio. Maybe I want to put this one also under my plumber folder. I can do that. I do that just because I already have an existing folder there that I'll show you in a minute. And then we can also choose to skip this person. If we had a phone conversation and realized this is not going to work out, I could choose to block that individual. Or if for whatever reason they uploaded something on accident that wasn't a resume, you can choose to report that incident to us, and we can take a look at it and potentially remove the resume if it's not an appropriate file that's been uploaded. Sorry. One other thing I wanted to point out, we could also choose to add a note to a candidate. And these notes by default are private only to you under your own account. You could also choose to make the note viewable company-wide, and that way anybody who had registered under your company's FEIN would also be able to view that note. But it's not visible to anyone outside of your company. The seeker themselves is unaware that you even made a note or anything like that. So that's one thing to remind yourself. So the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to go over here to our folders. And I'm going to go to this Plummer Reynoldsburg folder here. And let's just say that, you know, I know that I've already looked at all of these folks, and all 7 of these candidates are people that I would like to bring in for an interview. I'm going to go ahead and click that button here, and it's going to select all the candidates, or you can pick and choose which ones you do or don't want to contact. And I could say, I'm going to send each of these folks an email. And with the smart fields, I could say, here's first name, last name, and then we put in the job title, and then the job URL. So that way they know exactly which job it is we're talking about. Put in our contact information, say, hey, please email me back or call me back, whichever way you want them to reach out to you, and hit send. They're each going to get, it'd be just as if you blind copied all of them, but they're all going to have their own first and last name so that it to them seems like they're getting a personalized email rather than, hey, you're one of 7 people that I'm reaching out to all at once. From this page, you can easily see when each individual's resume was last updated. And I should have mentioned, I'll go back to this. When we're on that page to view candidates or manage candidates, one of those other fields that we can look for here is that we can choose to manage the fields and say, I want somebody whose resume was updated more recently. So after that, I can choose to say, show me all resumes, resumes updated in the last 24 hours, 7 days, or as far back as 12 months. It's entirely up to you what criteria it is and what recency bias you want to have with the resumes that are available there. So we can always take a look at that as well. And again, we can look through every single one of these. We can choose to print off local copies. Again, we could choose to add notes to each and every one of these candidates all at the same time. If we just put a note in there that just said, you know, reached out on 7/7 and asked them to contact me back, or whatever your actions or your note may be that you want to add, we could do that in there. And finally, we're going to go back to the briefcase one more time. And under these employment programs here, we can go ahead and search programs. And we're still in the process of adding a lot more of these. Currently, there's 24 programs for here. And these are all across the state of Ohio, different programs and opportunities that are available to employers. So you can try to find some different things that may be of interest to you, or different, you know, they may be grants, they may be voucher programs, whatever it may be. You can click on any of these and we'll take you to a little more information about that program. We'll give you the contact information and all that type of stuff if you have any additional questions. And you can go ahead and save this to your briefcase. So now when I go back over here to the briefcase, you'll see the Migrant Seasonal Farm Worker Program is saved in here, and I can access that again later on really easily. So that's kind of a quick down and dirty. There's a lot of tutorials down here. If any of that kind of, I know I run through this really quickly, but if any of that kind of got confusing, the tutorials are all down here. And in addition to that, like I said, the Business Support Center link up here will take you to where we have all of these different how do I documents that'll walk you through that. The majority of these have been updated since the employer registration. There are a couple that we're still in the process of updating. So if you see something that the screenshots don't match up or look like, there's a good chance that it may not quite be ready for prime time yet, and it may be based on the old system. But we are in the process of getting all of those updated. So with that being said, I would be happy to take any questions on anything that you guys have as far as the anything, whether it be posting a job, finding candidates, anything. So please feel free.
Does anybody have any questions? Well, you must have done a great job. That's wonderful. By the way, if you have a question during any part of the presentation, you can always use the chat feature, the chat box, to ask that question. So who's up next?
Hi, Sean. This is Julie. I'm so sorry I was late today. I was having technical difficulties, but I just wanted to,
I understand.
I just wanted to introduce myself. So I'm Julie Laird. I work for the state of Ohio in workforce development as a workforce specialist. And I also am a liaison partner with the board, with the workforce board and the job center. So it's my responsibility to reach out to Franklin County employers and find out what their recruiting, retention, and training needs are. So I'm available.
Well, welcome. Thank you for helping us pull all this together.
Thank you for having us. And there's all my information. If anybody needs to reach out to me directly, that's how you would get a hold of me. So thank you for having us.
Absolutely. Well, that was a great presentation, and I think there is more information from a couple of your other presenters. Is that right?
For today, I think that was what we had on the agenda.
Oh. Okay. Well, I apologize. I misunderstood that. That's great. I mean, that was a lot to take in, but what a great tool that I kind of suspect that not everybody really realizes how in-depth and thorough, yet simple, because it's been well thought through, your portal is.
I agree, and I'm glad we have it recorded so they can go back and reference it if needed. So
yes, and this is, I'm glad you mentioned that this is, as all of our Zoom calls are recorded and available through our website, www.gcchamber.org, and they will be in on our YouTube page as well. So we encourage you to go back and check out some of the things you might have missed.
Outstanding.
So, well, thank you very, very much for that great bunch of information. I think that a lot of our listeners will be logging on and looking and searching through your website or through your portal here because of that. So thank you very much. Tell us about your next presentation. That'll be, where are we? Is that the 14th, I think?
Yes, it is. Greg, can you go to the slide 2 for me, please? Thank you. So it's how to handle layoffs. So we have in the state what's called a rapid response team, and it's the job center, the workforce board, and the state of Ohio. So we come in if an employer is facing layoffs and they need help with their employers, we would come in and help them navigate all that and help find the laid off workers employment. So they're going to go into that detailed explanation next week.
Sounds interesting. Very interesting. I'm really excited to have this series because I really do imagine that there are on both sides of the employment fence, seekers as well as job posters that don't really understand how easy this is to navigate and how thorough and what a big resource this can be.
Right. And we always just ask that if you have any questions, just reach out to us and we'll help you get to where you need to go. So there's, and just a quick overview, like there's, what was I going to tell you? I apologize. So there's also training, tax incentives, and other state and federal programs that are available that we could introduce you to, especially now during all the COVID stuff we have going on. There's a lot of different programs that would be beneficial to your members.
Fantastic. Well, we'll keep promoting and getting folks in here listening. And like I said, it's recorded so people can watch it later as well. Well, thank you both so much for being here. Thank you for this information. And we look forward to hearing your next presentation next week. Thank you all for listening. And I hope you have a great rest of your day and rest of your week.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone.